Republican strategist John Burnett, who joins us live from New York. Thanks very much for coming on the programme. Bloomberg, he should be a Republican, shouldn't he? Why is he contesting the Democrat nomination?
Well, Bloomberg has switched parties so much. He's been a Republican, he's been a Democrat, so he goes back and forth. I think he politically looks at the landscape and see which color he should wear at the time. So it's hard to tell what he is at the time.
So he's an opportunist, basically.
Well, absolutely. He's seeing an opportunity here now, given that Biden is slipping in the polls, and he's hearing a lot of socialist policies coming from Senators Warren and Biden. So he's looking at the landscape, seeing an opportunity here. And, you know, I think that he'll end up hurting not only Biden, but he'll also hurt Warren and Sanders. So he's trying to figure out which lane that he should go down. He took some time to think that through. So he launched his campaign, and I think he's hoping to be the alternative, the option, if you will, other than Sanders and Warren. However, I'm not too sure if the Rust Belt is going to take too kindly to his, I would say, the nanny mentality. That's what we call them here in New York, with respect to your sodas are too big, and we need to implement more bike lanes, and we need to push, you know, for climate change. I'm not too sure if that's going to go over well in the Rust Belt.
Well, he's got a challenge on his hands to win the nomination, but let's speculate and say that he did win it. How worried would Trump be being up against him? He's richer than Trump, isn't he? That seems to rankle the president.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to really come down to, you know, how voters make their decisions. You know, let's look at let's break down the demographics. When you look at the black vote, you know, the stop and frisk increased exponentially under Mayor Bloomberg's 12-year reign. And I don't think that that's going to go over too well with urban voters, specifically black and Hispanic voters. So he's not going to get that support. That support will stay with Biden in the primary, and I think they'll be undecided with respect to, you know, the presidential election. I think when you look at what President Trump has done with regard to the number of minority-owned businesses that have been started, also the low unemployment rate in terms of historical numbers, when you also look at so many other things that President Trump has done with respect to prison reform through his First Step Act, the first holistic and comprehensive criminal justice reform since the 1994 crime bill. So I think once you lay out the record, I think President Trump is ready and stand ready and poised to take on Mayor Bloomberg.
But he does have this huge media operation behind him, doesn't he? And I've been hearing that his reporters have been told not to question him or the other Democratic candidates, but they can keep investigating Trump. Could that be any help for him?
Why would we expect anything less from the 8th richest man in the world? The person that can actually manipulate the media, not just, you know, through Bloomberg in terms of media outlet, but also the $100 million that he's already pumped into his campaign to run online media ads, and we probably could expect him to spend up to $2 billion. He's trying to buy this election. And look, let's look at his record here in New York. Affordability. That's going to be at the front and center of this campaign in 2020. And when you look at affordability in New York, rents have skyrocketed. Taxation has skyrocketed, not just, you know, under the current mayor, but it started under Bloomberg's 12-year reign. And when you look at the opioid epidemic, we have an opioid and heroin epidemic right here in New York City. Right? When you look at it, it just didn't start in the last 8 years. It started in 2002 or thereabouts, you know, during Bloomberg's reign. Then when you look at the stop and frisk, when you look at so many different things, even how he got his third term in New York City. There's term limits for mayor in New York City, but Bloomberg used his money to buy a third term. That's not going to go over well with Midwesterners as well as, you know, Super Tuesday states. It's not going to go over well for him.
Well, I'm guessing you won't be voting for him, John, but thank you very much for coming on the programme and explaining all that fascinating stuff.